So that was very entertaining and very interesting. What I'm about to show you is the first outing with this airplane. I'll say flights, but it was only one battery and the plane was on the ground quite a few times. So it was interesting, it was fun in a way, but also reminded me of why I don't typically like these types of aircraft, because they have no mass to them whatsoever. So they don't glide like a real airplane. And I'll say real airplane just because model airplanes are real airplanes also. But they don't glide like an airplane does, or balsa powered or glow powered balsa airplane, or any other full-scale plane for that matter. They just don't glide. When you cut power on these things, it's like a feather falling out of the sky and you have very little control. So that took me a few minutes to get used to, because I wanted to just bring it in and do some touch and goes and stuff, and as soon as I started to chop the throttle, not all the way, it just would drop because it had no glide, no mass to continue any forward momentum at all. So that kind of sucked. But the very first thing I did was I had a classic case of depth perception misorientation. And I did not go to my partner's land to fly. I just went right to the area where I take my walks, and because it was very calm. There's a runway there, a road, and there's also a lot of obstructions. There's trees and power poles and bushes and all kinds of fun stuff to try to avoid. And my first takeoff was a beautiful takeoff. I took off and I went, man, I started to turn and went straight into a tree. And you'll see part of that, potentially, on the video. It's really at the edge of the video, and you can just hear it go, and it was stuck in the tree. So it took me about 15 minutes to try to figure out how to get it down from the tree. And it ejected the battery, the cover came off, there was a little bit of damage to the front wings, but for the most part it survived. So after that I was like, well, I'm just going to keep flying and the heck with anything else. So I just kept flying, and that's what you're going to see now. So buckle up, and this video is heavily edited because there were lots of times during the video where I was walking or reattaching something. So I'm only going to put in there the things that are actually relevant to flying. But so it kind of survived. I mean, it's got some damage. It took one of these exhaust manifolds off. There's this top part here got ripped off. There's a piece of grass in here. This aileron, or this flap hinges are completely gone. 2 of the 3 hinges are ripped out. And it seems like there was some damage to this outer leading edge. So the thing is pretty banged up. So I'm not so sure I'm going to say it survived the test of David or not, but I think I could make it fly again. It's kind of fun to fly as long as you keep power on it, but I'll let you enjoy this video right now. Tree. And there you have it.